we live in times that are somewhat interesting. You may have come across that oft quoted blessing, may you live in interesting times. It's said to have a Chinese origin, though there is some discussion as to whether that is correct or not, and I'm not going to go into that, don't worry. But it is an interesting set of words. May you live in interesting times. We certainly do live in interesting times. There is much uncertainty about. Perhaps sometimes we wish that we lived a life a bit more ordinary, that we simply moved from unremarkable events to unremarkable events. The sort of tranquility depicted in one of Constable or Turner's masterpieces. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I, Vanessa and I, were celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary. And as many do, again, we looked at our wedding pictures, as apart from bemoaning the fact we don't look as young as we used to, they brought back happy memories. Many of those wedding pictures were taken on Richmond Hill, and the backdrop is exactly the same view immortalised in Turner's The Thames from Richmond Hill, one of my favourite views, not just because my wedding photographs were taken there. But that remembrance, our wedding celebration, also brings to mind difficult times that we've been through, as well as happy times. And perhaps that's the case with any kind of remembrance, not just the remembrance that we have today. The poppies that we are wearing, and thank you to those who found pins for me to make sure the poppies didn't fall out. Poppy didn't fall out. The poppies that we're wearing are a powerful reminder of the sacrifice of so many that we remember today. As a family, when we were driving back to what was then our home in Paris, we frequently stopped at the Somme. If you're ever making that drive, it's a rather nice service station, but it's also a great place to remember. The fields are peaceful now, but that name you can hardly hear without a sense of remembrance. Remembering the awful things that happened in battles there, that also remind us of battles elsewhere that may have taken a different form, a different shape. Last week I also happened to have watched that film, The Imitation Game. You may or may not have watched it. Film about the code breakers and how, having broken a code which was supposed to be impossible, they then had to keep it to themselves so that their work wasn't lost. And the personal heartache of this secret war that they fought, like those perhaps in GCHQ and other similar places. Today, and tomorrow of course, we remember the sacrifices made by so many, standing against evil, so that we might be free. In different conflicts they fought, so that the people of this land and of this world would live in freedom. Before God, we remember them. As a child, I remember wondering why we had to do this. Not many children here today, but it's great that we make a point of this because this has to continue from generation to generation. Henry Ford, I think it was, who famously said history is bunk. Somebody else, I can't remember who, said the only thing we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. But one way we might learn from history is to remind ourselves. The word in Greek to remember is actually the word not to forget, anamnesis, from which the amnesia, the forget, you can see the sort of etymology of that. We choose not to forget. So today, our remembrance is in interesting times. The passage read to us from Luke also spoke into times of turbulence and uncertainty. For Jesus' first followers and first hearers, their life was lived under foreign occupation. The temple building represented national and religious pride, and yet Jesus spoke of coming troubles when the very temple stones would be torn down. The shaking of their world may perhaps have felt a little bit like those awful events that we now know as 9/11, when tranquility was replaced by turbulence. I was then a curator at Chipping Norton in the Cotswolds, and many people who did not normally come to church came to church on the Sundays that followed. What can be trusted? What is certain? I have to confess that my trust in the great financial institutions of the world was a little bit shaken at that time. And I found that my own confidence in everything was shaken. In interesting times like these, Jesus' words speak of the fact that if we look to him, we can move from turbulence to tranquility. And just like the words of the hymn that we sang, time, like an ever-rolling stream, bears all its sons away. They fly, forgotten as a dream, dies at the opening day. And then it continues, O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, be thou our God while life shall last, and our eternal hope. And so we can move from turbulence to tranquility, from fragile uncertainty to solid hope. Our remembrance may be in interesting times, but our remembrance is not only of the sacrifice of those who fought that we might be free. It is also a remembrance of God who is with us both in times of turbulence and in times of tranquility. God, who is the only one who can turn fragile uncertainty to solid hope.